What is up? Welcome back to the channel and a sincere thank you for joining us. What do Elon Musk, Tim Cook, and Bill Gates have to do with horses and ranching? Today, I'm going to tell you and give you my short and long-term forecast for the horse market. Before we get started, please like and subscribe, and if you find this video helpful, please share it out with your friends, family, and hippies everywhere. There has been a significant amount of economic uncertainty over the past few years, and there are economic storm clouds on the rise. In 2020, George Soros and Bill Gates probably, most likely, brought us COVID-19 out of Wuhan, and by March of that year, one of the worst market crashes in history. Now, that crisis was temporarily averted by politicians and world leaders flooding the economy with capital for businesses to continue operating, and households were given cash to spend to keep up with that blessed Keynesian model we've all come to know and love that includes spending more than we save, thanks to John Maynard Keynes. Now, the problem was we then had a lot of money to spend, but manufacturers, including food and consumer packaged goods that purchase from farmers and ranchers, and transportation and logistics companies that ship those goods were operating at a much lower capacity.
Truck drivers from all over the U.S. are exhausted
and weren't prepared for the surge in spending that followed. This meant those dollars were burning a hole in our pockets, and what resulted has been brutal inflation and prices on everything from eggs to ponies to trucks to homes, and you guessed it, ranching and farm ground. When demand is high and supply is low, prices skyrocket. Now, the tech sector is one of the leading growth segments of the U.S. economy, and because people in the tech sector also watch Yellowstone during the pandemic and could work from anywhere thanks to the World Wide Web, they left their cities where the cost of living was historically more expensive and pretty high, and moved to our lovely little rural communities and drove home and land prices through the roof, making the land that it takes to raise horse, beef, and crops on more expensive. Unfortunately, the tech sector has been on a steady decline over the past 2 years, with many layoffs and increasing numbers of unemployment. I believe, personally, the tech sector is a leading indicator for the U.S. economy, being one of our primary contributors to GDP. And what we are seeing now in the tech sector will eventually trickle down to every branch of the U.S. and world economies, making the likelihood of global recession pretty likely if you don't consider the fact that we're probably already in one. Now, to combat that, Jerome Powell and his cronies at the Federal Reserve have slowly increased interest rates to increase the cost of borrowing money on things like trucks, trailers, land, basically everything, and slow our spending, and hopefully hit their beloved target inflation rate of 2%. Yet, Americans, including us horse people, continue to spend like it's 2020, and the world is coming to an end, and we are burning through our savings at a historical rate, which is never a good idea when the bond yield curve is inverted. Again, another historical sign of a recession. In the short term, prices across all horses, from those with blacklist pedigrees to your no-name grade horses, will likely be coming down. Why? Because for the bulk of the U.S. economy, horses are considered to be part of the luxury goods segment, which is the first to see a negative impact in times of economic correction. The Federal Reserve will likely continue to raise interest rates in an effort to hit their 2% target, which currently inflation sits at 3.14%. And most of us will have to figure out how to get better at doing more with less. Now, the horse market is an interesting one because for many of us, horses are not a luxury, but a necessity for getting a job done, also for curbing addictions. Ranchers do a lot with horses and rely heavily on them to get work done. And I do think prices will be coming down across the board. And really, we've already started seeing this with what are considered lower end horses. In 2020 and 2021, it was hard to find a trail horse for less than $6,000. And now you're starting to see some classifieds ads across Facebook and other places for $2,000 to $4,000. And I think that trend is going to continue to go down for at least the next year. I'm predicting that in the long run, horses will continue to show increased participation in the luxury goods segment, and prices will continue to go up on horses in that long run, especially those with premium bloodlines, but also everything else. Now, nobody can totally time the market, but all of us would do well to pay close attention to what's happening in the macro environment and play our cards accordingly. Meaning, do a little saving in the short term, and if you do find horses you're really excited about at the right price, Now could be a good time to invest if you can hold them for a longer period of time. Just be smart. If you're spending 25 grand for a 3-year-old head horse prospect, you're trying to flip really fast, that's bred to the nines, chances are pretty high you'll be upside down on that horse within the next year or two. And I see a lot of people playing high stakes roulette right now in the horse game, with the Western Bloodstock sale continuing to set records. Now, obviously, the rich have more resilient funds and can probably afford to take risks in the short term, like pay $1.5 million for a Hot Twice 2-year-old and $985,000 for a CR Caddy Raise Weanling at that Western Bloodstock sale. In the long run, these might pay off, but for us regular folks, the smartest play is to save. Or if you must buy horses right now, buy at the right price. But know that prices on horses and land will most likely continue coming down over the next 2 to 3 years as the market corrects. Things like the tech sector and retail are important markets to watch because they do impact the amount of capital or money in circulation. Based on what I'm seeing there, I do think the demand for horses will go down as we all feel our purse strings tighten a little bit. Supply will likely increase. I think there will be some good opportunities coming up if you're smart with your money. So, just kind of keep posted. Happy riding, saving, investing, frivolous spending, whatever you do, you do you. YOLO. Adios.